And let's see in the agent select if we do see any changes. No, they choose not to go back to the Tejo. Is this a mistake?
I want to see if maybe some of the ideas that they had yesterday they couldn't pass through because of Fnatic changing a couple of things and having a good map. And I want to see if that makes a difference into today, because Reigns is a brilliant Sova. That is something that you cannot never not account for. On the other side, Paditech, again, I think he did very, very well on Ascent, and his utility was having a lot of effect. And I think he's going to be, has to be the one shutting down Team Heretics.
It's going to be annoying, right, Petra, the KO?
Yeah, it's annoying, but I definitely think it's very good to work around. It's not the end of it.
Yeah, Liquid have a chance. They have a good chance. I mean, if they do win here, I'm going to start being a little bit scared for Team Heretics. They have to defeat their demons, Mitch and Tom, at some point this tournament.
The 3-0 revenge for Team Heretics. Desolation for Liquid, who've looked otherwise very good, but after that first map, who knows what we're gonna see here on Icebox. This is the choice of Team Heretics, the second pick that they went for, Tom, after what we've just seen, map 1 and map 2 in Team Heretics' pocket. What are your expectations for Icebox?
The thing is, we end up in more of a middle ground. I think they were undone when they tried to play this when facing off against Fnatic. I think Fnatic had a very good game plan of isolating Benji Fishy. Like we saw that regularly, like constantly pick him out of those lurks on that attack side. I want to see if that's something that Liquid have been able to pinpoint as easily, and more so, has there been adaptations. The other thing that was to note for Heretics was Minibu had a really rough map. That hasn't really happened so far throughout the series. He's looked very good, and if he's firing on all cylinders, I don't think it matters what Liquid do.
Well, that is a scary thought for Team Liquid coming out of this BO5 without a map under their belt. Now looks like a possibility when Ascent was a surefire win for them coming into it. Team Heretics on the attack, and a lot of utility waiting for them on that A site. Players just outside. Now they've got a good idea where the hit's coming through. Miniboo not deterred by that util. The suppression nor the decay will keep him back. He grabs an opening.
Already passed the nano swarms. I don't think they expected them to be that deep into the site already. It was a quasi-flood position from the defense, hoping to get in a little bit early. Instead, they've taken a hefty amount of damage, and on the other side, Miniboo is as fine and dandy as ever. Woot is going to add another to the death toll. This is looking rough for Liquid in the pistol, and they've got to try and get past Miniboo and the full force of this defense at this stage. The wraparound, okay, it's not pretty. But there's only one man left standing. Serial to do it all, at least with a couple, but the remaining two, they're just playing post.
Yeah, and there's no need to overextend at this point. Serial already low, time on their side. The defuse out in the open. An easy connect as Benji already sees it's not being stuck. Now the time more so in their favor. Benji wants to shut it down. 1-0 for Team Heretics. A pistol as they claim the first here on Icebox. This map will be enough to end the series.
Always a difficult team to play against. There's not many that are able to successfully run this Neon, but when it works for this squad, it definitely works fantastically well. I also think Woot moving over to this Gecko has been enjoyable. Like him being able to play these more aggressive flashes, put himself into aggressive positions. The same can be said for Camo though. I feel like it's one that can work quite nicely for duelist players. And allows Patty to play the agent that sort of, I want to say not made him famous, but got him back to the position we know he could be when playing as a stand-in for the Heretic squad. This round at least a few no-scopes for Boo. All about building up those orbs.
One thing we talked about extensively was just Banshee, not just on this map in their last series up against Fnatic, but in this last time that they played as well. The fact that Nats was shutting him down consistently. I've just checked for the first two maps. Benji's +7 against Nats, +9 against Serial. I mean, he has been dishing out death across the board, and it looks like
good.
Yeah, he absolutely has. But when he faces off against Benji, it's a different story. He's only taken him down one time so far. We see a near flawless round. Serial, the only one to pipe up, dropping Miniboo. But still 4 players left to take down.
This is sort of what I'm talking about with the Woot flashes. Is I want people to keep an eye on throughout the map. Like, you know that there's going to be a lot of the time a sort of more passive Gecko where you're throwing flashes for other people. Wu is not doing that. He is throwing a flash and then he gets the kill himself. He's assisting his own kills with this sort of aggressive play. It is almost added in as this secondary duelist, even when it's not, because you're still going to be the one planting the spike. For Wu, this round has definitely helped with earning up those orbs, but I'm looking more so towards Wu. One away from having the Thrash already, and for Liquid, this will be the rifles, but as mentioned, the differences in the two teams' bonus rounds, Heretics come in with a very strong buy.
Yeah, there's not 3 pistols backing up a couple of recovered pieces or carried through. This is a very strong buy indeed for Heretics. In fact, it gives them that basically back-to-back full buy. For Team Liquid, your challenge early on. The defensive side on the B site is about to be, well, looks like it's about to be pressured. 3 players there, Spike is there, Benji's gearing up for that flank play, but there might be an attempt to draw a rotation or even just to read what is going on, what the play is from Liquid, because you've still got Wu sitting outside the A site, waiting for a play that is just now coming through. And he hears those rotations. He's heard the steps away. They know that this fake has worked towards B. Will they claim the A space? Or look to take everybody down?
There's multiple layers to the lurk, but at this, okay, at this stage, I was going to say they're walking into the stack, but it's Mini Wu that's just been spammed out through the smoke. Extra util becoming problematic to hold them back, and now we finally start to see them make their move. Turret being destroyed, but if anything, that kind of gives the game away that there's still players on that other side of the map. It's an opening pick for Liquid, but
30 seconds left.
they will be having to play versus that post plant. And I actually think this is where, well, that ultimate for Wu can become so much more dangerous if he can catch a couple of players with it.
Spike.
Rotate from Liquid. He's caught Benji at least. The snake in the grass dealt with. Inside the few rifles. Wu not really given an opportunity with everyone coming in up top. Wu does well, finding the first, isolating the second, and the rest of the squad steps up. Thrash will be sent out. Panatek, he's up top, he's safe and isolating, finds, but Wu from the rope takes him down. They crumble at the hands of this attacking side, even after the opening pick. Team Liquid, they're stalling out, 3-0 down.
A little bit slow. Like, I think it was the flash thrown by Panatek. I'm not sure if it was a Thrash, it was just thrown to basically slow them down a little bit. But Wu underneath was completely blind. And it was only after he got his vision back that anybody went to peek him. Just a little bit too slow on the reaction.
Nice, guys.
Well, Wu's off to a flying start. 6-1. Obviously getting all those additional orbs from planting as well. And when you are up against map and series point in the best of 5, obviously sending them out, but already with that qualification to Toronto. 3 players currently on the goose egg, 0 kills. It's not the start you're looking for if you're a Liquid fan. Bear in mind they started 5-0 on the last map, it's still lost.
Yeah. And we said it in the last one, once that ball gets rolling for Heretics, it's difficult. There were a few bumps in the road, but around here or there on Team Liquid's Ascent defensive side, it's unheard of. Sprinkling them in amongst the feet. The good thing about this one is huge read from Team Liquid, or just a huge gamble. 4 players in position, and Heretics are running right into it. Lots of pistols, and they might not pose much danger alone.
I think they have the info though. Like at this point, at least 2 or 3 players have been spotted on this side of the map, but it's almost coming down to a level of disrespect. They want to fight into this, even seeing a player's on the wraparound, but it doesn't seem to matter. They have walked into the full force of this squad and still seemingly coming out on top. 3 players alive, and well, eventually Benji's there to finish them off. As you said, it was a good read or a good stack up from the side of Liquid, but they still only got 2 kills.
Even the wall couldn't save Nats from Benji now. He is out for revenge in that battle, dropping Nats yet again, putting 4-0 on the board. Like you said, this stack, it looked dangerous. The pistols with numbers, that's where they pose a serious threat. But in the end, there was nothing to be scared of if you're Team Heretics. Wonderful stuff by Benji to close that out.
Nice go, boys.
And smiles all around in the Heretics camp. It feels like they are gearing up for this 3-0. The rifle round now stands in their way. A full buy for Team Liquid. And even on Haven, but they didn't win a lot of rounds. There were a lot of rounds that came close. Can't count them out.
Okay, maybe there's a chance for Panatek to get another bite of the cherry.
So,
Miniboo doesn't seem to want to allow it. I said, if this guy gets going, it really does feel like a done deal, and Oriion's just even putting a couple of shots in. They won't get there in time to actually save Panatek, so he's gone from the fight, but this attack site will have to fall off. The lockdown is going to force them away. One player will get caught, but look at the defense. They've all gathered up together. They are looking to try and fight this, and the attacker just waiting for them here.
expected it to be a rotation. They thought they'd give it up. The lockdown, it might have pushed them back, but they were not out of this round waiting. As the end zone flawless is locked in, the ult used by Team Liquid, the rifles in play. And it is a sweeping, resounding victory for the attack side. Now 5-0, a scoreline we saw Liquid with on the previous map. But one that so far it feels like only Heretics can come back from.
Yeah, it's going to be that pause taken, and you can understand why. An attempted mid-round from Liquid that has fallen completely flat. They've walked into the blender, and we are still sat with only 2 players, Panatek and Serial, to even be on the board at the moment for Liquid. The other 3 are yet to find anything. Kiko obviously picking up the solo duelist for this map, hasn't really managed to find that level of form, and when there's a shot at the trophy online, of course, we saw Liquid have an advantage and crumble. We saw them dominate the lower final last time around, but the story has always been about Heretics finally getting a trophy under their belt. Sure, the internationals are ones that I think most people are mentioning, but even regionally, the expectation is that this squad should have already won something. The first time they faced up against Fnatic, they were the favorites.
Right there.
And now they're looking to try and get back and get revenge on the squad that sent them to the lower bracket, maybe only for a moment.
Well, I think those stats might have changed going into this series. Perfectly balanced when it comes to 5v4s, almost the same win rate. Doesn't quite feel like the same here. Heretics looking like the better team. 2 maps under their belt. Opening pick goes to Kiko. A second as well. This can't be a round that they let slip, but if they had rifles, I might believe. The rest of the squad has pistols. Benji has taken down Nats, where previously he was the one being caught out on those mid lurks. This time he's the one to find that pick that equalizes, and with the lack of weaponry, gives them the advantage.
Unfortunately, that rifle just wasn't recoverable, at least yet. Utility being left towards the B site as at least a little bit of additional information can be had, and it does mean that both Serial and Camo will be in position. Even just the beginning of this round being a little bit of a confidence booster. Kiko's first kills onto the board, but there's still so much more that needs to be had, and while dealing with Miniboo can be far more difficult. Even just pops the ult, maybe just for a little bit of a flex. Seemed like he already had the kills in the bag, but just wanted to make sure there was no way of getting back into this round. Panatek, he's been good, Mitch. But this is a little bit different versus his old squad.
Yeah, it really is. With just a Sheriff as well, hell, give him a rifle and maybe he's got a chance. But they've got that spike planted, time on their side, flash dodged, and a big swing from Miniboo. A 4K and 6-0 for Team Heretics. It seemed like there was a bit of a bump in the road with the early fight. Kiko getting himself on the board. Should be the other way.
Down A.
But an immediate recovery, and again, once that one rifle goes down, you know that the odds swap right back into Heretics' favor.
1 enemy remains.
This is likely the round that was being built for. With a Blade Storm available for Kiko. Other than that, the ults are a little bit further away. Camo would like to get an AWP here just to have the Thrash available. More interestingly, Benji Fishy sat watching with an operator into mid. Just looking for that contact. In case anybody tries to aggress, instead they're grouped up in this ball around the A site once again, but Heretics are very happy to just stall. The pop flash will go through. Maybe a little bit of a sound cue to at least give them the idea that somebody is around this corner.
Nice flash. Kiko's gonna be swinging, so is Camo. Good opportunity as they force the fight onto Kiko. Camo almost had one, but he couldn't quite connect. Miniboo surviving late is good for the trade, and the off up top picks off Patatek. That's the A-side hold, crumbled. Nats fills in the gap, but he'll get nothing! Heretics! They are destroying Team Liquid in every round we've seen. It feels like their hands are on the reins and a few fingers may ease up, but their death grip is going nowhere. A 4 versus 1. And as good as Serial's been, close to an ace earlier, I don't think this one's going his way. He catches Benji. Needs so much more. He won't even be trying it. In fact, Boo's looking to hunt him down.
Oh, why not? Credits are
Max.
almost maxed out for Boo. It will be after this round ends, so it's not really like he's got anything to lose. The same for Miniboo and for Rien, so why not throw a gun or two into the wind just to try and, well, remove the guns, but also just make this even more of a downer for a side of Liquid. The last few seconds will just result in that survival. But this has been the impressive thing. You go into a best of 5, okay, map 1. Maybe you want to start on a strong foot, you dominate. Your opponent gets their choice, you have the same expectation. Wasn't the case. Felt like it would be. Map number 3, you're getting into the middle ground. To hell, this ain't a middle ground. This feels more dominant than the first map. They've been really so clean with it, and the worst thing is in this round at least, this looked like the setup. Like Liquid had that initial flash, it gave them the information, then they have the double flash. It's so difficult to dodge the pop flash from KO and Gecko at the same time, but they just don't hit the shots.
I mean, the re-aggression on main might have worked. In fact, he even got the pick, but it's the fact Miniboo's still alive up top. Instant trade. And now the rounds crumbled. With Patatek falling after, there was no road to recovery. The defenders, 4 players in position. A rifle for Serial, a bulldog for Camo, but the rest, they've got nothing. And they will be forced into a retake. The site take in full effect. Boo has a Viper's Pit, but it might not even be the round to use it. We'll see.
I think the lockdown makes it. They know that there's a bit of a gamble potentially on this side of the map. In fact, a lot being expended in this scenario. The attack ascending through way more than I would have expected. They even use a Hunter's Fury in the mix. They just want to make sure this round goes over the line. It's not even that much of an investment from the side of Liquid, but it's almost like Heretics just wanted to kick them while they're down.
Boo just sat around the corner. No need to take a fight, letting his teammates clean them up inside the pit. A phenomenal display from Heretics with 8 rounds now in a row. By far the most dominant start to a map. And it feels like there's no hope for Team Liquid. They have got a massive climb back needed. And indeed, coming into round 9, it was map 1, round 7. They had used all of their pauses coming out of it. Going into round 8, now going into round 9, it's the same story on map number 3. Desperation for Team Liquid. And
the most surprising thing of all is Nats 0 and 8. Like find me another game of Icebox when Nats is having that much of a troublesome time, but it does come with the leadership. When things go well, you can kind of focus that a little bit more on your individual ability. When the synergy is there, when you have that little bit of extra help, when everything's going badly, that's where you almost have to focus off your own game. But then again, you think about it, a lot of the time he's that B anchor. They really haven't gone B that much. This A execution has been an execution. And for the side of Heretics, what if you took this round in isolation and you told me versus a low buy, they used a lockdown, a Viper's Pit, and a Hunter's Fury, I've been like, they're nuts. That's so many ultimates to throw in, but you're 8-0 up. I feel like they just want that death-dealing blow already.
And a Thrash, I think, too.
Potentially.
I think they put all 4 in. Which is quite something. These teams, it was hard to separate them when it came to the stats. In the past, it wasn't too hard to separate them. Liquid with a resounding 3-0 victory. Many 13-4s and, what was it, a 13-7 in that mix. They looked like the better team last time they faced, but that has changed. This lower bracket final seems to be the end of the line in stage 1 for Team Liquid. 8-0. An unbelievable turnaround needed.
Better hope that whatever speech has come out from Nats, from Lion, from Yautzen, is maybe the best one they've ever had. This is the furthest behind they've probably ever been in a series. They have to try and come out of it with a victory. Panatek looking to take point. Mid control completely taken. And interestingly, a lurk from Woot on the A site. It's not normally the player you'd expect to see, normally the man to plant the spike, but maybe that's the plan, to really sell the ruse. There's still 3 players and a 4th lurking in mid. There is nobody really remaining on this side. That might be because there's an idea to go back. That could be a problem with how far forward Kiko is.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, I don't know what the play is here. It looks like Heretics pump faking to take light A space. The Woot will be the one lurking up. He's doing that right now, taking that control, sending out Wingman. Is this a fake to drag them off of B? The double fake from Team Heretics? They're not going back. But in fact, Team Liquid have not gone back either. They've not fallen away. Boo goes down, spikes on the floor, picked up, and now an attempt to plant it. It looks like that's a success. 3 versus 4, numbers not in their favor, but Miniboo manages to pull one back. Panatek is down, Rienz is low. In fact, he's down and out of the round. It's all on Miniboo. But a 1v2, a very winnable scenario from what seemed questionable moments ago. But in the end, Team Liquid will get it across the line.
Important return. An important read more so. Like, I don't mind the idea from Heretics. Like, you throw in your Gecko, you throw in the Wingman just to try and sell the idea that, okay, well, if Wingman's running into the site, that's probably for a plant, but they didn't fall for it. They knew that there were many players around. A lot of that could be down to the deep mid control that was taken by Camo, by Kiko. The amount of space that he had into mid is enough for them to hold the line on this side of the map.
Nice, good job.
Finally finding that first round on the defensive side. It is a long road back. And as mentioned, no more touches in with the coaches. They're alone for this one.
Turret has to be broken. I like it though. Kiko waiting for the peak, hoping to punish Benji. Doesn't work out this time. They'll back off from that early control. Now, Team Heretics, they already played that fake B into an A push. They're trying to bait it out, but it was the aggressive position from Kiko that gets them so much control. Now the Viper's Pit. When A has been working, you're going to pop this early, wanting to keep that control. A player pushed up close in it as well is Serial. He's got a gap. He's safe inside that pit for now. And for Team Heretics, getting him out of position, now that that Nano's gone, will be tough. They'll be decayed as they make their way in.
Popped his own Nano to try and sell the idea that he wasn't somewhere on the site. Oh, that was almost Nat's gone. That would have been the pit down. Instead, they planted just on the edge of it. Boo gone, Woot still standing, hiding on the edge. I don't know how he's still alive, but he's managed to get out of there with full HP. Gives them a man advantage and goes back for more. Woot in form is devastating, and Benji holds his back. It's going to be left all onto Serial. And it takes a monstrous clutch to give them their second round.
The light at the end of the tunnel, perhaps. Team Liquid, they've been down for 8 rounds in a row, but a return to form now, 2 in a row, much more needed. But this half, finally seeing some more hope. The good read, the player guarding outside of that pit as well, necessary, or this would have been a very different round. But what a play by Woot. It seemed like that was enough to take it across the line.
Michael. Good job, guys.
But Serial again digging deep when he's needed the most. He has been a shining beacon of hope here on this map, in this series as well for Team Liquid, going back to Ascent. A lot of big rounds.
Pace change, pressure, so much pressure put onto Camo. He's got Kiko alongside him at least, who has been able to survive and in fact even add another.
Monster on the loose.
Making things at least even after what was an attempted blitz through. Drone going to be put up top. That will give the game away onto Panatek's position. Means he can't peek, but Nats is already here alongside him. Again though, Heretics after this blitz have paused.
Yeah, but they didn't get to back yellow. Thrash is now denied. Nats spots there's still one here waiting for that peek, but Woot gets ahead of him. Fires a shot and takes him out, leaving Team Liquid with the disadvantage. Spike to be planted by Wingman in the lockdown. Not going to put on as much pressure as they would hope. These players safely back in main.
a lot less ground to fight for, but they try and go ahead of it, but completely blinded is Patatek. He had nowhere left to go. And I want to reiterate what I mentioned earlier in the match, Woot with his own flashes. Like, think about the amount of times where, look, he has 2 assists. How many people do you think have been blinded by the Gecko flash and been killed? I think it's a lot more than 2. And that's because he's just playing it like a duelist. Like, he'll go swinging into angles, he'll throw his own little pop flashes there again, and then retrieves it, and straight back up with another flash. Both the remaining players,
because it's my
he is leaving them blind. 16 and 6 for Woot. We've spoken about this man on initiators, and maybe the fact that sometimes he's lost when not on the duelist. I think this might be the balance.
It looks like it. Setting himself up for success, as he is the entire squad of Heretics. 2 rounds in a row for Liquid, immediately interrupted. On the attacking side are expecting aggression. They show a little bit of presence towards B. They wait for mid aggro. Players up in spawn even, but no one's seen. No early aggression means they go walking up towards A. Now it's a late double push, but as the circle fades, you'll see that there's also 1 player up towards the spawn. So A is a little bit lighter for now. The utility should bridge the gap.
Well, yeah, the other thing that's lighter is just the guns. They've only got a singular rifle. The flank is everything.
My ult is ready.
Hunter's Fury already bought into play. The turret just playing a tight angle, which will let them know that there's somebody around this position, and Boo is going to go looking for it. The flash leaves him in a bit of an awkward position. Doesn't really have the cover for the team, and Rians is looking the wrong way completely. 2 big kills coming up for Liquid, but Woot still standing. Mini Boo alongside it, but Woot's doing it all. This man has been an unstoppable force in this first half and still barely taking a lick of damage. Whereas Camo on the other side down to just 10 HP. It's Wu looking to add another ace to the tally. They may have not had as many as their opponents, but they're getting them all in this series.
Damn close to equalizing series versus all year long. Another ace and a dominant way to close out this half. Now 10 rounds for Team Heretics. There seems to be no stopping them in this half, in this map, or in this series. We'll be back with what could be the final half of the lower bracket after this.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Well, this has been a turning of the tides in favor of Team Heretics. They once played a lower bracket final against Liquid, and it was a 3-0. It may well be again, but the shoe is on the other foot this time, with Liquid moving on to the attack side, just 2 rounds under their belt. We thought Ascent would surely be theirs, Tom. It seems impossible, or certainly seemed impossible, to imagine a series where Heretics, after the form we saw them on yesterday, came in and dominated today. But what a resurgence this has been.
Well, I want to take one word from your sentence and apply it to Woot, because I think he's in his final form. He has been truly unfathomable. And you go back to the last map as well. Rians was doing exactly the same thing. Benji Fishy on map number 1. It really has just been a display in the depth of talent. That talent taken from the tier 2 and lighting up the tier 1. Of course, they're going to go aggressive in the pistol round. Sure, the first kill went Kiko's way, but it's already been a flood back in the other direction. And they're just set up for the retake. A deep alarm bot, which will give the game away.
Plant the spike, Wings.
And sure, there'll be a plant. What? Bravo didn't even get to see anything.
This is truly ridiculous. The pistol now a 4v2. Opening pick went to Liquid. From that moment on, it all went wrong. Riens sat in the background watching the boys find success. Time and time again on this map, it has gone to Heretics. And once more, a round falls in their favor. Team Liquid, 2 rounds versus 11. An unbelievable comeback needed. The odds stacked against them. The question has to be asked, do you take the eco here? 10 rounds in a row for overtime? Do you force buy?
You force.
I don't know that there's a right call. There's only wrong calls from here.
I think you have to force, but you are correct. It's picking your poison. You force and you lose, you get the same buy again. You don't force, you give Heretics 12, and you're gambling on not only them just not winning around as a team, but one of the individuals on the other side not taking them over the line. It just, that's never going to happen. So they're going to force. And honestly, I think it's the right call. You spread the risk slightly, but then look at the buy on the other side. They've come in with 5 Bulldogs. They are playing heavy into the rifles, looking to play at range. It's not the prettiest of starts. And honestly, Kiko's done well here. In fact, he's done incredibly well. Look at the HP, though.
Yeah, a lot of tags here. Still a chance to pull this back. It's not a standard 4v2. Camo and Kiko, just one shot needed. But Kiko, he's being the snake in the grass now. He's hiding, holding on to control. They're going to clear him. They're going to clear him. That's another pick now for Heretics. The numbers close to equal. Camo, 1 shot. The rest are healthy. And they've recovered some weapons. Patatek's got a Bulldog in hand. Time is ticking away in their favor, and a flash primed and ready for the big swing. The tap now. Oh, it's not even going to come in yet. Oh, great time delay. This is dangerous. That's the rifle. Down and out. Down goes Camo and Serial. He needs another clutch. He's down to 17 HP, and he's gone. Riens stepping up to the plate as 12 rounds found for Heretics. A 2v4 clutch. And if not the beginning of the end, this is the final hour for Team Liquid.
That one's gonna sting. As if all the others had them before, but this is just the exact sort of round where you realize the depth of talent that is there for Riens. Predicts where one of the players will be. The only reason Patatek's in the open is because 2 shot darts were fired into the exact position he was stood in, and then at the end he's left to defend his buddy as he defuses. And well, anybody who doubted Riens from that point in the round is a moron.
The worst part is if that nano doesn't activate, they tap the spike, flash goes up, we might see the round go the other way.
They're doing it again.
Buy enough time.
They've got slightly more to play with, but there's slightly more players sitting in their way. Kiko needs this pick and he will not get it. They've met Godwoot once again. And Riens is there to close it. It is Heretics with a decimation of Liquid. A squad with grand finals in their blood. And they have proven that they are well worthy of making another.
Well, they've gotten revenge for that best of 5 long ago. This time it goes in their favor convincingly. And now Fnatic, they know what it looks like when Heretics are out for blood. A best of 5 grand final. And this team has earned their shot at the king for a second time.
An incredibly impressive performance, I think, from start to finish. And even though it's defeat for the side of Liquid, you can still see the smiles, the respect, especially from Patatek. He's always spoken very highly of the individuals on the other side of the stage. I don't think he was particularly surprised with what he saw. But this is exactly what you want to get from Heretics. For Liquid, of course, a lot to learn from this match. They're already on their way to Toronto. That's the main thing to take away from this. But now they go back to the drawing board. Look at some of the comps that were picked apart by the explosive nature of this Heretics roster. This roster built on young talent. And while I mentioned it in the last, that there was a chance for Riens to come out with double the kills of anyone else in the server. That's exactly what Woot just did, by the way. 26-6. I think one of the best performances we've seen all the way through the stage, and he has left it right until the end.